Hey, good day everybody. Darian Kath, Interpretive Specialist here at Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site. And today was our Living History Day. I was here today demonstrating some techniques in tanning and the tradition of taking a butchered animal skin and turning it into something usable. So what I have on the rack is a pronghorn or antelope hide. It's been in a bath of wood ash and lime and water for about 3 days. And what that does is at least bring up the chemistry of the skin up to an alkaline condition to the point where the hair will literally just slough right off. And it does save a little bit of time during this whole process, because this whole method of turning hide into a usable leather product is very time consuming. So the hair was sloughed off, it came off nice and easy, and then this was stretched across this frame here, and the scraping part of it comes into play. Now back then, in earlier times of the village, of course, stone tools were used. This might have actually been used as a scraper in one of the villages. It is a piece of flint. It is about that size. You're looking at an artifact that's about the size of your palm, where you can grip it easy. And if it does have a sharp edge, you can be able to remove the fat and meat layer that's left on the flesh side of the hide. So that was the majority of my time spent today working on that. Other than a flint, there are various other types of tools that were used back then. This is an elk antler. Actually, both of these are elk antler handles with old worn out files. And when they are sharpened and attached to an elk antler handle, this could be another method of scraping down that hide. So in any case, you're getting down to the epidermis layer of the hide. And as we went along today, things get easier. This hide had been sitting, like I said, in 3 days of water. It did start to get a little bit on the ripe side, which brings in all the flies. But as you keep working on it, it does get better. The flies lessen, and we're on our home stretch here for this hide. So the next part, after removing all the hair and the flesh and fat off of both sides of the hide, we could do a couple things here. If it was back in the village times, and you can do this in modern day as well, but a process of brain tanning. So each animal has enough brains to tan its own hide. And when you take the brains of the animal, it's basically mixing it up with warm water into a paste and spreading that paste, working it in, smearing it into the hide, and rolling it up and letting it sit there for a day. And something in the enzymes, the chemicals within the brain, make this hide nice and soft and supple. The chemical reaction, though, will keep that hide nice and supple. However, once the brain has been penetrated into the fibers of the hide, you do need to work the hide. And so once we do the brain solution, or in my case, I'm going to use a modern tanning solution. Once that chemical reaction has taken place, then it becomes a process of working the hide. So what I might do, I might tie a rope to the trunk of a tree, stake it down to the ground, and take that piece of leather and work it back and forth against the rope. I can do the same thing on the trunk of the tree. The process is the same. You can think of all those leather fibers, we're all interlocked, and we're just breaking them up so they're be able to flex. So they're still interlocked, but now they got some give and take. So you can see from something like this. This is brain tan leather. What I'm wearing, my trousers today, brain tan leather, looks a lot different than what you'd commercially buy from the store. There is a couple modern tools that I've been using today. This is when you use on a fleshing beam. So it is a hide scraper, but just imagine the hide draped over a log or some other piece of wood, and you're basically scraping that hide that way. Saves on your back a bit too. The other one, and the one I've been using mostly today, is this one here. This kind of a blade here, and scraping like that. So we can revisit this again once this is fully tanned. Alright, well, we're back after a few days here. I've applied the tanning solution, and like I said, I didn't use brains. It is a commercial product, off-the-shelf solution, but ends up being the same as far as the goal of softening the leather. And so the leather had been softened, and then it was the process of stretching it, whether that's just kind of breaking the fibers up like this, putting it against a tree trunk or some other abrasive sturdy object, and just working that hide until all those fibers are flexed and this entire hide is soft and supple. And then I followed up, since right here on site we can have an active fire in the earth lodge all the time, gives me an opportunity to smoke this hide, which is important because smoking will also benefit this hide in the long run, as far as it lasting a long time with the smoke penetrating into it and providing insect proofing, waterproofing to a degree, keeping the mold out of it and that type of thing. So we've got a finished product here, and now it's just a matter of turning it into something else. Back in the day, this might have been traded, or could have been made into various bags. Got, for example, a nice pipe bag here. Doll, moccasins, shirts, pants, leggings, didn't matter. At this point, possibilities are endless. So thanks for joining me as this quick overview for hide tanning, and come out and visit us here at Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site.